Hello and welcome back to another review. I'm looking at the R69 Android TV box today, and this was sent in via Gearbest for a test and review. So what I'll do is I've listed out all the specs, the main specs on the screen for you there, and we'll go through the product and have a look at how it runs. This is quite a small box, 9 by 9 centimeters and under 2 centimeters thick. Very small and petite, very thin too. And on the back we have the connections: AV, HDMI out, LAN port, a USB and power input, and on the side we have a USB port and the micro SD card slot. Nothing much to see on the other sides. There is an LED on the front, we'll look at that in a while. On the underside, silicone pads, and you should be able to see the heatsink with the ventilation slots. Also get a decent quality HDMI cable, not gold plated, but it does the job, works perfectly fine. And the standard remote that's included, pretty similar to most of the boxes that I've looked at. You'll have to supply your own batteries with this. It takes two AAAs. These are my own ones that I'm putting in just for testing. It does however light up when you press a button just to let you know that it's working. Now the included user guide is fairly generic. It just covers some of the basics. It's not specific to this model, but that's pretty much what you get with most of the Android boxes that I've looked at today. It comes in a few different languages as well. It's okay for starting off. Now powering up the box, you'll see quite a subtle blue light come on. It's well diffused, so I don't find that annoying at all. Now we're going through the boot sequence. Fairly quick boot up on this, about 15 seconds. And then moving into the main menu screen, you can see here we have a variation on the media box format, but you can adjust the bottom shortcuts. Simply go through the apps that you wish, tick them or untick the ones that you don't want. You can customize that to your own particular taste. Same for the video, you can add and remove the shortcuts, the apps in there. Also have a clean memory tool, and this does come with a toolbar at the bottom, so you can close applications, you can adjust the volume, and you can go back to the home screen. It's useful if you've got an air mouse, which I'm using at the minute, and take a screenshot. But this one doesn't have any bugs, fortunately, so you can bring it back. Quite a few boxes I've looked at have had bugs, so that's a nice feature that actually does work. And you go into the settings, takes you through pretty much all the standard stuff that you're going to see on an Android box, but it does look a bit different, and that's because it's running Android 4.42, which is an older version of Android, so that's why the look is quite different. Doesn't really make a huge difference regards to setting up the box. Now we go into Kodi. This one is 16.1 Jarvis. Now you won't see any shortcuts as soon as you've gone in there, but if you go into the add-ons, you'll see that there are some streams already added there. There's actually a few there that are not too bad, they're quite useful. But if you want to add more, you can just click on the Get More, and there are a whole bunch there. So they already have pre-configured Kodi for you. All you have to do with that is just pick the ones that you want to include. Now there's one point to note with this, is because it's running 4.42, you won't be able to run the latest version, 17 and up, on Kodi. Now I would recommend shutting Kodi down if you're not using it, because it can use up a bit of memory. We're on a gig with this particular box. Looking at the included apps, they're actually pretty minimal. There's not much here. You have a file manager, Chrome, Kodi, Miracast, a few basic apps, Play Store obviously, and YouTube. There's a system update, but I couldn't find any updates available for this. Another feature is you can long press the power button and you can actually shut it down. If you do a short press, it just goes into the standby mode. So I much prefer to shut the box down when I've finished using it. Now because there aren't that many apps included, which is probably a good thing because I usually uninstall them, I install Aptoid. Just go onto the website, install the app. You'll also be able to update apps that you have installed with this, so you don't have to register on the Play Store. Only caution I would say is look for the trusted green shield. That means the apps have been tested and there's no viruses or anything like that, but that's an option for you in case you want to look at that. Now running my benchmark tests, we're on Geekbench 3 and we've got a score of 787 for the multi-core. Now it does break down all of the individual specifics of that. The reason I run these tests is really to, apart from compare the box's performance, is to test the stability as well. So the multi-core score is a bit below the RK rock chips that I've used, and it's a bit below the Amlogic ones as well. Onto the 3D benchmark that I do. All the boxes that I have done reviews on will have these benchmarks included, so you can compare them. And the score on this came in at around about 14.2 average frames per second, just over 1,000. So the 3D performance on this box would be moderate. It would be okay for light gaming, wouldn't be a good choice for heavy intensive 3D gaming. It's not really designed for that, but I got a good result on the Wi-Fi test, over 36 on the download and 18 on the upload. A couple of points to cover now with the box. Firstly, the chipset is designed for full HD 720p playback or 180p playback, not 4K, so you won't be able to stream and play back 4K smoothly on this box. It's just not designed to do that, the hardware. Another area would be possibly the Android operating system is a bit older, so you can't run some of the latest versions of software. It still has pretty good support, and to be honest, I don't really see it as a huge problem. This would have been nice perhaps to have had Android 5. Now, regarding any of the other areas, in terms of the general performance, was actually decent. Quite speedy boot up time, opening and closing apps were fine, and if you're upgrading possibly from an older box, maybe a 512 megabyte one, a dual core, you'll actually find it fairly nippy. It's not the fastest performance in the benchmarks, but it works perfectly well for full HD streaming, and which is probably what most people want to do with the box, or possibly as a second box, maybe in a bedroom where you just don't need high performance, you just want something that's very good value, and this is really a very good value box for the money, and it does the job perfectly well. So thanks for watching the video. I hope that was useful to you, and don't forget to subscribe, where I'll be looking at more Android boxes in future videos.